Hello students, today in this lecture of electromagnetic induction, I will explain about one more phenomena of electromagnetic induction which is called as mutual induction. Now what happens in the mutual induction? Here in this diagram you can see there are two set of coils which are placed very adjacently to each other. They are placed very close to each other. One coil is connected to the battery. This is the rheostat. Here it is, we call it as rheostat. And what is the function of rheostat? That I have explained in the last lecture. And plug key. While the other is connected to a galvanometer, and galvanometer detects the presence of current if there is any. If you see this coil, here there is no source of EMF. No source of EMF means there is no chance of any current. But it was observed that if we switch on the current, or if we switch off the current, or if we vary the strength of the current, then it is observed that galvanometer is showing the deflection. When current is switched on this coil, or current is switched off in this coil, or strength of current is varied in this coil, then it is found that some current induces in this coil. It means because of the change of current in this coil, an EMF induces in the other coil. And since the coil is a closed circuit, therefore current is also induced. And because of that current, this galvanometer shows the deflection. So this phenomena is known as mutual induction. This phenomena is known as mutual induction. This is one more a very important phenomena of electromagnetic induction on which transformer, on which the induction coils are based. When you change the strength of current in this coil, then what will happen? Its magnetic strength is changing. Magnetic strength is changing means what will happen? The number of magnetic lines of force which it creates, that will change in the number. Here I have shown some of the magnetic lines of force which are produced because of the current through this. So see here, when current will pass through this, here current is passed through this, it get magnetized and it produces its own flux lines because of its own current. It's clear. When there will be the change of the current, suppose when you have switched on the current. So current suppose increases from 0 to its peak value, and here we have assumed that the maximum value is 5 ampere. It reaches from 0 to 5 ampere in 10 millisecond. So during that 10 millisecond, there will be the change of magnetic flux passing through this. The amount of magnetic flux will vary in the number. When no current, no flux was there. Flux was 0. When 5 ampere, suppose the flux produced, magnetic flux produced is 100 Weber. So when the current changes from 0 to 5 ampere in 10 millisecond, during that time the magnetic flux which it produces is changing from 0 to 100 Weber. And since the other coil is placed very close to this coil is placed very close to this, what will happen? The same change of flux will also take place through the other coil. And since there is the change of magnetic flux, so according to the Faraday's law, what will happen? EMF will be induced, current will be induced, and galvanometers will show the deflection. But this deflection will persist only for that time for which the current is varying, for which the flux is varying. Once the current has become constant, there is a constant linkage of magnetic, there is a constant production of magnetic flux. Therefore, there will be a constant linkage of magnetic flux here. There will be no change of magnetic flux, and no change, therefore, there will be no deflection, no induced EMF, no current, no deflection. Similarly, if you switch off the current, in that case what will happen? What will happen when you will switch off the current? Amount of flux is varying from this to this. It decreases from 100 Weber to the 0. Once again, there will be the change of flux, but now it is decreasing in nature. And what will you find? You will find that now galvanometer will show deflection in opposite direction. That I will try to show you by some experiment, not in during this class, in some other class I will show you. So you, in that experiment you will see that when magnetic flux is increasing in nature, galvanometer shows deflection in one direction. When it is decreasing in nature, galvanometer will show the deflection in opposite direction. So that experiment I will try to show you. Now see here. So here what happens, this phenomena is known as mutual induction. What is the phenomena of mutual induction? The phenomena of mutual induction is that in which on changing the current in one coil, EMF induces in the other coil placed adjacently to it, placed close to it, is called the mutual induction. Now here these coils have been given the different names. The coil in which the strength of current is changed is known as the primary coil, while the coil in which the EMF induces, in which the current is inducing, is known as the secondary coil. It is known as the secondary coil. What will be the induction of EMF here? How much EMF will be induced? It will depend upon the rate of change of magnetic flux. It is clear. So the coil in which, so that I have told. Now there is one term, coefficient of mutual induction. So that you can see what is the coefficient of mutual induction, or its other name is also mutual inductance. Coefficient of mutual induction or mutual inductance. So you can see here we have assumed that when I1 current passes through this, what is the magnetic flux linkage through each turn of the secondary coil is phi 2. When I1 current is passing through it, how much magnetic flux passes through each turn of the secondary coil? Phi 2. And one more thing I have assumed. Here we have assumed that the whole of magnetic flux produced by primary is passing through each turn of the secondary. Whatever the amount of flux it produces is totally passing through each turn of the secondary. So if secondary coil is having N2 turns, if it is having N2 turns, then what will be the total magnetic flux linkage through this? It will be N2 into phi 2. N2 into phi 2. And this very easily you can understand that this will depend upon I1. This will depend upon I1. And why it will depend upon I1? If you increase the current strength here, it will magnetize heavily. Its magnetic strength will be increased, because the magnetic strength of the coil is given by B equals to mu naught Ni in the solenoid. It is this. Means it is proportional to I. When current is increased, then what will happen? Magnetic induction inside the coil will be increased. Therefore, it will produce more amount of magnetic flux. More amount of magnetic flux. So there will be more linkage of magnetic flux through each turn, and total magnetic flux linkage will be increased. Means N2 phi 2 is proportional to I1. Total magnetic flux linkage in the secondary coil will directly proportional to the strength of current in the primary coil. So that you can see here N2 phi 2 is proportional to I1. You can see here N2 phi 2 is proportional to I1. We can write N2 phi 2 equals to MI1. M is a numerical parameter called the coefficient of mutual induction, whose other name is mutual inductance. Whose other name is mutual inductance. It's clear? Means N2 phi 2 equals to M into I1. M in is what? Coefficient of mutual induction for pair of coil. For pair of coil, that also we will write for, because there are two coils in mutual induction phenomena, for pair of coil. So you see here on the next page, Mi1 equals to N2 phi 2. From here we can write M equals to N2 phi 2 upon I1. Now if you take I1 equals to 1 ampere, if we take I1 equals to unity, what will be M? N2 phi 2 upon 1, that is, it will be equal to N2 phi 2. Means, how will you describe it quantitatively? Coefficient of mutual induction for the pair of coil is equal to magnetic flux linkage through one coil when unit current passes through the other coil. How will you describe? Coefficient of mutual induction of two coils is equal to magnetic flux linkage through one coil when unit current passes through the other coil. Now we can deduce one more relation of induced EMF by using Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. So as we know that induced EMF in the secondary coil is given by E2 equals to minus N2 delta phi 2 upon delta T. N2 is the number of turns in secondary coil, you take it inside, it will become minus delta N2 phi 2 upon delta T. But N2 phi 2 we know it is equal to M into I1. N2 phi 2 equals to M into I1. So you substitute here. So E2 equals to minus delta M I1 upon delta T. M you have taken out. M is a constant. So E2 equals to minus M delta I1 upon delta T. What is delta I1 upon delta T? It is the rate of change of current in the primary coil. I1 is the current flowing through the primary coil. Therefore, it is the rate of change of current in the primary coil. Now, numerically, what will be the value of M? You can see here what will be the value of M numerically. So, you can see M equals to, it will be equal to E2 upon delta I1 upon delta T, E2 divided by delta I1 upon delta T. It is clear? This will be the coefficient of mutual induction for the pair of coil. What is the minus sign significance? That we know, because of the Lenz law, it comes in the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Now, if delta I1 upon delta T equals to 1, that is rate of change of current through the primary coil is unity. If the rate of change of current through the primary coil is unity, is equal to 1 ampere per second, then what will be M? M equals to E2 upon 1, that is equals to E2. So, how can you describe the coefficient of mutual induction of two coils, of the pair of coil? It is equal to the numerical value of induced EMF in one coil when rate of change of current in the other coil is unity, or defined as the coefficient of mutual induction of two coils is defined as it is equal to numerical value of induced EMF in secondary coil when rate of change of current in the primary coil is unity. Now, what will be the unit of mutual inductance? So, mutual inductance and self-inductance both have the same unit. If we deduce the unit, it will come out same. What is the SI unit of self-inductance? It is Henry. It is Weber per ampere. It is volt second per ampere. Here also the same thing. You can see here, just now you have seen one relation, M equals to N2 phi 2 upon I1. What is N2 phi 2? It is the total magnetic flux linkage through the secondary coil, which is measured in Weber. It is current in primary, so Weber per ampere. It is clear? Now you have seen here E equals to E2 equals to, it is equal to, here I have reduced a relation of E2 equals to M into, or M equals to E2 upon delta I1 divided by delta T. If you simplify this relation, what will you get? In terms of unit, E2 is volt. E2 is volt. It is clear. It is ampere upon second. Ampere upon second. So it will be volt second per ampere. Or Henry. Or Henry. It is clear. So 1 Henry is equal to 1 volt second per ampere, 1 Weber per ampere. And since the unit is same, therefore dimensional formula will also be same. Now here there is a derivation in your course, mutual inductance of two long coaxial solenoids. Mutual inductance of two long coaxial solenoids. You can see here. Let us consider an air-filled, closely wounded long solenoid P, which we have named as primary coil. Here this is a long, closely wounded, means turns are very close to it, solenoid. Let its length is small l, and in that length there are how many turns? N1 turns. Length is small l, means this is the how much length? This length is L, and in this length primary coil is having how many turns? N1. So what will be the number of turns per unit length? N1 upon L. Let its area of cross section is A. Area of cross section means this thing. This is A. We have assumed that there is another coil called coil S, which we have named as secondary coil. It is wrapped over its central portion very closely. It is clear? It is closely wrapped over its central portion. Means the turns of this are in contact of turns of primary coil. Means area of cross section will be same. Whatever the area of primary coil will be same as the area of secondary coil. Both the coils will be having same area of cross section, and it is wrapped over the central portion. And suppose here there are how many turns? There are N2 turns. We have assumed it is having N2 turns. Now see here, when I1 current passes through it, what will be its magnetic strength? I1 current passes through it, what will be the magnetic strength? You can see here, magnetic strength of the primary coil, it is given by mu naught into small n. What will be small n here? Number of turns per unit length, N1 upon L into I1. Now since the secondary coil is wounded over the central portion, therefore whole of the flux which primary produces will also pass through the secondary, because it is wrapped over the central portion. So whatever the flux primary produces will also pass through the secondary. There will be no leakage of the flux. There will be no leakage of the flux. It is clear? Leakage of the flux means the flux which is produced by primary but do not pass through secondary. But here there will be no leakage. So see here, the magnetic flux produced by primary will pass through secondary, through each turn of secondary. So what will be the total magnetic flux linkage with secondary? Through each turn, how much flux is passing? Phi 2. Having how many turns? N2. So N2 into Phi 2. This we can write N2 into B into A. What is B here? B is this. So you substitute the value of this. B is this. This is the B. It's clear. That is the small n. So N2, then mu naught N1 upon L into I1 into A. On further simplifying, what will you get? On further simplifying, you will get mu naught N1 N2 I1 A upon L. So what will be the M? Coefficient of mutual induction. It is the number of magnetic flux linkage when unit current passes through primary coil. So N2 phi 2 upon I1. So this is the M. This is N2 phi 2. This thing is N2 phi 2. So N2 phi 2 is equal to this much. So N2 phi 2 upon I1 will be equal to what? It will be mu naught N1 N2 A upon L. It's clear. N2 phi 2, this is the N2 phi 2 is equal to this much. So what is N2 phi 2 divided by I1? So it will be mu naught N1 N2 A upon L. It's clear. Now what is N1 upon L? Number of turns per unit length in the primary coil, which we have denoted by small n1. So it will be M equals to mu naught into N1 into capital N2 into A. What are the terms? It should be very clear to you. N1 number of turns per unit length in the primary coil, N2 number of turns in the secondary coil, A area of cross section of both the coils, you can say, because both are closely wrapped one over the other, very closely wrapped one over the other very closely. It's clear. L is the length of the primary coil. So from here you can see that M is proportional to what? It is equal to the product of turns in both the coils. M is proportional to the product of turns in both the coils. It's clear. Then there will be more mutual inductance. Now see here, what is the effect of the core material on the mutual induction? Core material means, suppose there is an iron core, and over the same iron core there is the winding of the primary coil as well as of the secondary coil. So as we know that iron is having more permeability. Permeability means having the ability of concentrating the magnetic flux within it, having the ability of absorbing the magnetic flux within it, means the magnetic flux which passes outside it, it concentrates within it, passes through it. This is the primary coil. Now secondary coil is this. So see here, it is having more permeability, therefore the magnetic flux will be increased. Magnetic flux will be increased, therefore mutual inductance, induced EMF, both will be increased. So if a ferromagnetic material is placed, ferromagnetic material produces huge magnetic flux in that region in which it is kept. Then EMF induced in the primary coil is increased. Now what is the use of this? Already I have told it that it is used in induction coil to produce a high voltage. In transformer, which are used to step up or step down the AC voltage, used to step up or step down to the AC voltage, not to the DC voltage. So thank you. I hope that you have understood this. So thank you.